Kiss 92's Big Show
Sexy.
welcomes Dr. Martha Lee,
Hey, baby.
the sexyologist.
I'm sexy and I know it.
I think you are too cute.
Shut the door now!
It's closed.
Behind closed doors with Dr. Martha Tara Lee. Today we talk about limerence, which is an involuntary psychological state characterized by intense romantic obsession, intrusive thoughts, and a desperate longing for reciprocation.
Tell us that in layman's terms, Dr. Martha.
Yes, when I was younger, I used to think that I would have crushes on different people, but I only was introduced to this term limerence last year, and it totally described what I was going through, which is more than a crush, because crushes are usually passing, but limerence is when you become obsessive about this person with very little to go on. So it's not like the person did anything and you're just hanging on to their every word or any hint that they are interested in you.
Would you have met this person, or could it be someone that you haven't met as well?
Yeah, that's the thing. It can be all made up. It's all projected. You may or may not be actually in a relationship with them, but the key is the uncertainty of the future of the relationship. So it's a bit like liking suffering.
That's an awful place to
but
be
is
in.
something happening during this period? Are they being intimate?
They may or may not be intimate.
Yeah.
So there can be long periods of not being in contact. The uncertainty actually makes the attraction stronger, and it can be intermittent.
Right.
So like years will go past and they just can't get over this person.
Yeah.
They have intrusive thoughts about this person.
Now, when it comes to limerence, right, does it only affect people who are not together in a relationship? Because I'm not sure, because there's so much of this that's going out on social media and all that. One of the things that came up was this could be a reason why someone stays in a toxic relationship, because because you have friends, right? Sometimes you're in a or you see them in really bad relationships, and then you talk to them and you're like, this person's not a good person, but they don't see it, because in their minds, the person who they've conjured up in their heads is very different. They don't see the bad parts, they don't see the real person. They are just obsessed with the good things. Many times, the good things they have made up in their minds about the person that they're with.
And most of the time, correct me if I'm wrong, are we talking about non-exclusive relationships? Does it happen more in non-exclusive relationships?
I think the uncertainty of the future.
Okay.
It's like I would have a happy ending if things just work out between us.
Okay.
So it can be along the lines of friends with benefits, one night stand, flings, and then you just keep thinking of this person.
Okay.
Yeah, craving.
Can it also, like what I was mentioning earlier on, can it already happen while you are in an existing relationship?
Yes, definitely,
Okay.
definitely. You are emotionally dependent on them. You are constantly trying to interpret whether there are any like small signals that gives you hope. It's a lot to do with the highs and lows of being in this supposed relationship.
Make-up sex.
Yeah,
so
make-up
that's one
sex.
of the reasons for limerence as well, I'm sure.
Yeah, if you compare it with being in a committed relationship, you would feel calm. You will feel that there's mutual care, commitment, and companionship, and that's not what you have in limerence. The key is the word uncertainty.
So who is susceptible to limerence? Is it like everyone, or is it like lonely people, or like what low self-esteem people? Like what kind of individuals are susceptible to
Yes.
this?
So people who are lonely definitely would feed on these crumbs, because it feels like connection, and they just want something to make them feel alive.
Yep.
And this whole like wanting to be rescued. So yes, lonely people will be more susceptible.
Wanting to be rescued.
Wanting to be rescued.
Wow.
Because I was thinking some people have many partners,
Yep.
right? All of whom are non-exclusive. That could also lead to limerence, perhaps, because some
Maybe not the-
feelings might develop for
Correct.
for one or two individuals out of the 20.
Actually, it gets even more confusing when there's, of course, sexual intimacy involved.
Yeah, but escape. as a term, as a way to escape? Could it, somebody, we talked about being lonely, maybe they're already in a relationship, but because they are in a relationship that doesn't validate them, that does not satisfy them emotionally or, or psychologically, they project what they actually wish they had in their own relationship onto a potential partner.
Correct.
And that's when they start obsessing over this other person because, if I was with that person, it would be so much better and I would feel all the things that I'm currently not feeling in my relationship.
Without the other person even knowing that you were
Yes.
thinking that, right?
Yes. So they're building a dream out of nothing and this happily ever after.
Yep.
My life would be complete if things just work out with this person. But that is not within your control a lot of times.
Okay, all right.
Let's continue to talk to Martha on the Big Show TV. Meantime, here's Alex Warren and Rosé on My Mind on Kiss 92.
Limerence sounds like a very what if, kind of situation, like what if I was with this person or if only kind of situation, right? Is it a case of trying to fill a void?
Yes, a lot of it is suffering, longing, pining, and misunderstanding that as this is what I'm supposed to do.
If I had this, I'd be happy.
Yeah, makes you feel alive, gives you something to cling on to, makes you feel less lonely and hopeless, even though there's suffering involved.
Okay.
Go
ahead, go ahead.
Because it's in my head. Is limerence only about love though? But could it be about, say, a job? Could it be about, say, adopting children? Because some people are like, I'm not great with my spouse, but a child is going to make everything happy. So I'm going to project all that on this imagination that's going to fill the void.
Yeah, I get what you're trying to say, but essentially it is usually about
romantic.
a person.
A person, okay.
Romantic. So you can also argue that the limerence is actually the start of any relationship because you have that uncertainty at the start of any relationship.
Yeah.
So the difference is temporary and it leads to less uncertainty, less anticipation. But if there's more distress, if the person is unavailable, is unreciprocated, then there is more limerence.
Okay, now, so just to follow up on what Angel was talking about, right? I mean, people who are susceptible to limerence, and there is a difference between a crush and limerence, because limerence is bordering on obsession already. What are the signs to look out for to see whether or not what you thought was just a simple crush has now moved into limerence? What signs should we be aware of?
I feel that the highs and lows is a big sign, and then dramatic hope and despair. So the key is the uncertainty actually makes you feel bad, but it's not like enjoyable. It's not something that makes you feel good. That sense of juiciness when you think of someone versus the suffering.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
So it's not a matter of, let's say we're just talking about a simple couple, right? But both sides don't want to commit. There's no limerence there.
No,
Right?
it can be.
Really?
If one is wanting more than the other and pining over the other and projecting a future that was not communicated, but they are hanging on hoping
doesn't
things will
even
change.
look possible, right?
Yeah, like friends with benefits, for instance.
Right.
Yeah.
So it could be like Tim was saying, a friend of yours who looks like they're with someone who doesn't give two hoots about them, right?
Yep.
But it's constantly, oh no, we're going to end up like this and we're going to end up in that house. We're going to end up having 5 children, this and that one, whatever. But the partner has no vision or plans for that kind of future. Is that also limerence?
Yeah, I think
Or is that,
very
to me,
much
it's like you're
one-sided.
delusional.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
You know what I mean?
We try
That's
not
what-
to use that term.
Yeah.
Obviously, there's no communication. I
No.
mean, if you want an exclusive relationship and love each other,
Yeah.
stay committed to each other, then there will be no limerence.
Yeah, because you're both on the same path.
Uncertainty.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're
It's
certain, you
uncertainty.
see.
But a lot of it is just you've just been priming your own brain, right? Because a lot of times, sometimes you build sandcastles in
was
your
gonna say
head,
that,
right?
yeah.
You're like, oh, this person looks nice. I really like this person. I can imagine, oh, if I was with this person, we do this, and you start building these stories in your head. And before you know it, because you think about them all the time, even worse if you're in an unhappy relationship, right? You use these dreams as an escape from your real world. Before you know it, you're obsessed. That's what you're always chasing.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, when you see this person in real life, you associate so much of these dreams that you've concocted in your head with this real person.
Correct. So you can also think of this as limerence is possible with those people who are chasing over idols or celebrities, the parasocial crushes.
Stalkers.
Yes. So that's where it gets to the level of stalker behavior.
Yeah, because we've heard, like, I don't know, Taylor Swift, Britney Spears, whatever, that these stalkers have imagined themselves being married
Yeah.
to them, you
That
know?
to me is clear. When we
That's psycho.
say limerence, if you're
Yeah.
telling me that that's the definition of limerence, it's clear to me.
Yes.
But because there is no physical contact, they've probably never even met.
Yeah.
But these things are playing on their minds. But if you're talking about people who are, already on an intimate level and stuff like that, then I don't see that as limerence.
It can be because let's say you have a friends with benefit situation, and
One is hoping for more.
nature of relationship was spoken in the start, but then maybe not so clear, and the other person like not wanting to be so clear because they want the sex to continue, then the other party will be like hanging on and maybe becoming obsessing and craving.
Does it have to be one-sided though? Can both members of that couple be experiencing limerence but in different ways? They're hoping this
For each other?
No, yes, from each other, but they want different things.
No,
they're
because you
together
said-
because they're
Yeah.
expecting different things from each other.
I think the key is the certainty of the relationship.
Certainty.
Once they are
Certainty.
interested in each other, they talk about it. I think a lot of it will go away. The obsessive nature of it.
Okay.
But you can also, I guess, in a parallel way, you can also think of people who are extremely jealous people and making excuses and saying that, oh, that's just because I love you so much.
I was about to say that
Jealousy.
as well. Okay, let's go back on there. I was about to say the root of it is like jealousy or insecurity.
Insecurity. Yeah.
Okay, stand by. Traffic.
Kiss 92 traffic.
On the BKE towards the PIE, after Dairy Farm Road, causing quite a bit of backup is an accident in lane 1. Also on the AYE towards Tuas after Clementi Road, a vehicle's broken down there as well. If you have any news for us, you can always WhatsApp us 88550920.
Kiss 92 traffic update brought to you by BYD. Head down to North Point or Vivo City to have a glance of the latest BYD model and stand a chance to win a pair of free Minion and Monsters movie tickets.
Welcome back to The Big Show and The Big Show TV. Our guest for today is Dr. Martha Tara Lee, our sexologist, and we're talking about something a little, to me, is a bit stupid.
A bit confusing as well.
Limerence.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got to be really, I think, dumb to be so bothered by something like this.
I don't think we
Terribly
can
insecure.
label people though.
as well.
I'm not sure. Don't you have people who are obsessed about you, Glenn?
I don't know.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
But please, to these people, let's say if they are these, don't be stupid.
Okay.
Don't
No.
go find someone you can love, wholeheartedly.
I think it really comes down to where they are in their lives. Okay, I mean, yes, when everything is hunky dory, right, and mentally you are at the top of your game, everything is going well, and you are rational. Yeah, it's easy to go, oh wait, that's not real life, that's not real. Snap out of it. But if you are already in a stage where you are feeling down, you are emotionally bothered,
Yeah.
you've got a heavy heart, sometimes people will cling on to things, and
Yeah.
that is human nature. You see what you want, and that is why sometimes, right, you make excuses for people, right? If you like this person, no matter what awful things that they do, you will find a way to spin, to make excuses. Oh, they had a bad day. No, they're really a good person.
No, but people should not be obsessing over their idols,
I
so to
think-
speak.
But
you
it's
know what I
hard
mean?
to-
It's
It's
They're
hard
putting
for us-
someone on the pedestal.
Yeah, it's hard for us to say people should not be doing it because sometimes people don't have anything else going on in their lives, for
Correct.
example. You know what I mean?
If you have nothing to lose.
Yeah, and this is one thing they want to cling on to.
Yeah.
And give them hope that there can be a brighter
it
future.
makes them feel alive.
Yeah, exactly.
And
If-
bro, you mentioned celebrities, like your idols and all that. It doesn't always happen with idols. It can happen between friends.
No, which is what I'm
Yeah.
saying. I find it
Yeah.
stupid if someone obsesses over their idols. You know what I mean?
Or
But if
let's
it's
say their
real
boss.
people, it's fine.
Yeah.
People you're communicating with. You want to take the relationship further. You work on it. You communicate. That's fine.
I don't think they're so far off because there are celebrities who marry their fans, so it gives them hope that if only their idol will just spot them in the audience or something.
Which celebrity married their fan?
I've heard of radio DJs who have gotten together with listeners.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh.
I mean, you know.
Okay.
Well, that's a conversation for a different.
That's a conversation
time.
for off air.
But I mean, once again, we've been talking about limerence, and we kind of understand it a little bit more. We talked about covering signs. Supposing you realize, I think I'm suffering from limerence.
What do you do?
Yeah, how do you break out of it? Because once again, it could be easier said than done.
Yeah.
Check yourself into IMH.
No,
No. It's not a psychiatric condition. It's not a official diagnosis. It's just a term to describe what is going on. And I never knew the difference between having a crush and having limerence. I have to admit that I have been in several of these kinds of relationship. So to break out of it, it's I feel having the reality check of, okay, enough time has passed. When am I going to let this go?
Or this person has to do something really, really awful to snap you out of it.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, you put someone on a pedestal, they
Yeah.
can do no wrong, or you have very little to go by because you actually don't really know this person. This person probably doesn't even know you exist, or maybe just on the peripheral of their lives. So it is important to look at what is it I'm admiring this person, and claim the parts of them that you admire, meaning work on yourself so that you can be the person that you love rather than love some obsess over someone else.
So you know Fatal Attraction, the movie?
Yes.
Yeah.
say
Okay,
that-
Glenn Close,
that's
was
it.
that limerence?
Yes, that was limerence.
Okay.
That was
there you go.
limerence.
Okay,
yeah.
let's continue to talk to Martha on the Big Show TV. It is 9:23.
Kiss 92 Time Check brought to you by BY.
And even the other one with Demi Moore and Michael Douglas.
Oh yeah.
She was the boss, or remember
Disclosure.
that?
Disclosure, that's what.
That's also limerence on her end, I
But
think.
those are movies where I guess they show you like the obsession, the stalkers, the negative parts. But they're also movies, right, that romanticize it. Like, do you remember that Sandra Bullock movie, While You Were Sleeping?
Yes.
Yeah, she saw this guy every day. She saw him at
Yes,
the train station.
yes.
She obsessed. She made up all these things. And then one day he has an accident. He faints. She follows him to the hospital. She sits there every day.
Yeah,
And she's like,
yeah.
oh, this is the guy. Because she's built an entire picture, you know, of the life they'll lead together.
Keanu Reeves, right?
No, it wasn't.
No.
It wasn't.
I didn't
Oh,
watch
yeah.
that movie.
And then in the end, she falls for his brother.
Yes, I remember that, but not the character.
I remember the title, but I don't remember the movie.
Sounds
yeah.
like a chick flick.
Yeah,
Yes.
it was a chick
So
flick.
I wanted to bring up this topic today because a lot of our younger audiences may not have had any relationships and very little experience. So we want to highlight that there is this thing that does exist, the difference between having a crush and becoming obsessive over someone, and just being more aware of what is the line between what is a healthy relationship versus something that actually doesn't serve them.
Okay, it's
Okay.
time to get out of this because we've been talking a
Yeah,
lot about
get out of
limerence.
your
So let's talk
bedroom.
about how and what you can do to give them good advice for them to get out of limerence.
To help them, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I think a big question is what is real, whether there is really any basis of a future that they are fantasizing about, whether there's any basis, like are they getting closer to having a relationship that is certain, that is calm, that's not dramatic, and just now I mentioned like work on yourself so that you can be proud of you as a potential partner.
Yeah.
It's about loving yourself, I guess.
Yeah,
You
to
know?
snap out of it. There are plenty of fish in the sea.
And caring for how you're actually treated, because you don't want anyone to be, firstly, not knowing that you exist.
Yes.
Secondly, being treated like shite.
Yeah,
You know,
value
that's
yourself,
value,
right?
Yeah.
But also, I mean, would you say that? I mean, you should cut contact with the person until you get over your obsession.
If you're even in contact
Yeah,
with them.
yeah, but
exactly.
I'm talking like if you know the person, you've built a certain impression of them, and you find yourself like, oh, I think I might be suffering from limerence. Should you cut contact? Because
Yeah.
once again, stuff like this can happen between friends
Correct,
and colleagues and
correct.
things like that.
And you can have a on-off relationship or friends with benefit situation, not just somebody you don't know, but even somebody you are in relationship with, just that the relationship doesn't serve you and you're spending most of your free time actually obsessing over this person.
What if you are on the receiving end of limerence?
Oh, it's very annoying, right?
No, I know, but
Because
what do you do?
You don't feel the same with that person.
So
I think
enjoy the
thing-
attention.
yeah, the best thing you can do is just be direct and be straightforward that you don't feel the same towards this person. A lot of
Like,
age-
let them down gently?
let them down, whether it's gently or not. But it's better to be honest because it serves no one. The person, in a way, you don't really like this attention. Isn't it better to be direct, even if you that's the thing what I was going to say about Asians. We have difficulty speaking our truth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they think they're being kind, but actually by hinting here and there is actually not kind.
Giving them a runaround, yeah.
Yeah, so don't lead them on, in other words, because
Yeah.
sometimes, and I'm not going to say that, girls like to lead guys on. The guys will do the same thing as well. You know, they enjoy the attention, or maybe they need them for other things. You know, for other, not
Using them for sex.
or sex or
It's
some
also
other form of benefit that you're getting, You know,
No, but even sometimes, like you get the attention from that person, right? And then you're like, even if they tell you, look, there's nothing going on here. I do not want to be in a relationship with you. The other person walks away going, oh, he just spoke to me.
Hey, but you know what?
Do you know what I mean? Because that can be a sign to them that, oh, they've paid attention to
But
me.
some people use that limerence, right? And they take advantage of it because, someone's obsessed about you. It makes you feel good as well, particularly if you've been in a relationship where your partner is not obsessed with you. Then you're like, hey, actually, this is a bit of an ego boost because you may not pay attention to me, but look, got so many other women or men who are obsessed with me.
And remember, okay, once you have sex with someone, things will change. You know, just like once again, I bring back the movie Fatal Attraction.
Yeah.
Like she wasn't very attractive, but Michael Douglas kind of felt like, oh, okay,
He has a woman, yeah.
yeah, let's just do it once, lah.
Yeah.
and then
That's it.
boom,
Yeah, there is a risk.
Lost a rabbit that way.
Yes.
I wonder if
lust.
there's anyone listening to us right now who is named Limerence.
Limerence
Wong,
Tay.
Limerence Chan.
Okay, let's see if there are any questions on Facebook.
Maybe they regret their choice of name then. Yeah, so enjoying the chemistry, but please observe the character of the person. If you're thinking of long term, look for the patterns of like what is happening in the relationship, not just go for the peaks, the highs, and before even committing to a relationship, like slow down before making big decisions like marrying the person.
Oh,
I have
my.
had clients who say the sex is amazing. I guess we are meant to be. We should get married, even though they have constant fights.
Good point.
And I think also it helps to have really good friends and believe your friends. Okay, if you've got a whole bunch of friends, and I know people like this, right, who tell you, bro, I don't think she's for you, lah. Okay, believe them. Okay, particularly if you trust that they have your best interests at heart.
I know, I get that, but I feel like that's also very intrusive. You know what I mean? There are some people that just get along behind closed doors.
Yeah.
While all the friends are not looking and stuff like that. But also there are people that friends may not think are suitable for you. But should we really be butting in? I mean,
if they
obviously-
ask you, if I ask you and go, hey, Angel, I really, really like this girl. I don't
What do
know
you
if she,
think?
and and you and Glenn go, hey, look, bro, I don't think she's for you. I don't think she's interested in you.
would you
I don't-
actually listen if you're obsessed with her? You know what I mean?
If I trust you enough and I've got more than one person to tell me that I think this girl's really, really not good for you, I would believe it. I
don't know.
would. But you see, that's me coming to you to
Yeah,
ask, right? So if you have a group of people, once again, a group that you trust, at least give some credence to what they have to say.
Yeah. I think it takes a lot to give advice when it comes
Yeah.
to relationships because you always are afraid that you'll lose this friend.
Yeah.
And there are also people I know of who have broke off contact with their friends
Yeah.
Because of their partners.
because they didn't agree.
And then
Yes.
sometimes people ask the question, but they really don't want to hear the answer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like you come to us just for, for asking sake,
Yeah.
but you really hope we say, oh, she's great for you,
No, I mean, I really enjoyed today's topic,
Yeah.
right? Because, I mean, I feel now that I know what limerence is and what it means and all that, I recognize times in my life where I may have experienced this. I just didn't understand what it
Same.
was called. And years ago, I really did have a friend who come up to me and go, look, you like this girl. You've been chasing this girl for a very long time. She's not a nice girl. Everything you see in her, you think she's an angel, you think she's wonderful, she can do no wrong. She is a mean girl. Okay, this was years ago. And I didn't understand. I was like, wow, it's so different, my impression of this person and what other people are thinking. And that kind of helped me break away, and kind of like, after a while, like if everybody is smelling smoke or they're seeing fire, maybe I need to open my eyes a little bit more. And
Yeah.
guess what? Once that I started to open
The smoke
myself to that,
cleared?
I started to see all these things that I did not like in that person. And it
Yeah.
was a lot easier to move on after that.
I was actually in a relationship where I was suffering from limerence, but eventually came out of it. So, yeah, that is it's not easy
No.
because you think to yourself, no, what can I be doing so wrong? Or this person is fantastic. We're gonna have a future and all that, and then
Yeah, a lot of self-doubt.
yeah, no, and you feel like I wasn't who I am today during that time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, you become a fraction of yourself because you change so much, and you're not really that true personality
you're trying
that
to
you can
fit into
be.
that person's life.
Yeah.
Yeah, so if you get anxious instead of being calmed, instead of being feeling desired and chosen, respected or wanted, these are all signs. So checking your values, your communication, whether you are able to repair if you're fight, whether you feel that the person is dependable, reliable, is there for you. I think these are all clues of whether this is actually a relationship.
Right.
Okay.
Traffic.
I think parents are to be blamed. I'll explain in just a while.
Okay.
Those were your news headlines from the Straits Times. Read more at straitstimes.com.
Let's kick it off.
Kiss 92.
Cue the music.
All the great songs in one place. Kiss 92 traffic.
I have a sneaky feeling that the roads might be wet somewhere. On the BKE towards the PIE, an accident after Bukit Panjang Road, congestion till the KJE, avoid lane 1. Also on the KJE towards the PIE, a broken down vehicle before Chua Chu Kang Drive. And on the SLE towards the BKE after Woodlands Avenue 2, another accident. If you spot anything else, you can always WhatsApp us, 8855 0920.
Kiss 92 traffic update brought to you by BYD. Head down to North Point or Vivo City to have a glance of the latest BYD model and stand a chance to win a pair of free Minion and Monsters movie tickets.
Welcome back to The Big Show and The Big Show TV. It is 9:34 already. Dr. Martha Tara Lee behind closed doors, our sexologist. Today we've been talking about limerence, kind of a romantic obsession, the roots of which we kind of spoke about just now could be insecurity, jealousy, and well, we've all been through this as Tim and
yeah. I think to a certain
All
level.
of us, yeah.
I think all of us have.
but not at that level of limerence.
Okay, not
Yeah,
Glenn, just us.
I don't think I've been at that level. I mean, the limerence level, that's quite intense.
You know, when you're spending every
You know?
moment thinking and
Yeah.
dreaming, basically you're not living in your real world, lah, okay? But I have a question. Earlier on, where we talked about how, you know, if you see yourself in limerence, what do you do? Supposing I see my friend going through limerence, how should I advise him? Maybe Glenn tomorrow meets somebody. He's like, wow, I thought I'd given up on being together, but I think I'm going to propose again. I'm going to marry. And then I'm like, no, this is not the girl for you. You know, but I understand, you know, he's already built this fantastic impression, this dream, long-term vision.
This is the one that will change me forever.
How do I snap him out of it?
I think it's really important to look into the confusion that happens when we have sex with someone. The body might be going wow, but the story is actually cooking up the mind is actually cooking up some kind of a love story. So what differentiating between what's real and not?
It sounds like this happens a lot in K-dramas.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I
Yes.
feel like it does. They should
Yeah.
just call it limerence. I'm sure
Yes.
there's a...
Like romanticizing
Yes,
everything, right?
right, yeah.
Don't take everything like it's real when you watch movies and these K dramas.
Yes, so we watch these dramas and then we think this is how love is supposed to play out when actually they're showcasing limerence.
Yeah.
And we start to think that is what this is what love looks
It's
like.
meant to
Yeah,
be.
and we all know this now, right? That love is not enough in a marriage.
Of course not. Yeah.
But there's still some people who feel like, oh yeah, love is everything. And one of the reasons why I said just now on the Big Show TV that I think parents have a role to play as well is because they kind of like give their kids this impression, you know, that the first person they get like intimate with and all that, you know, they should respect. Basically, they should respect their partners, especially guys. And I think for us, remember the first time we felt serious about a girl.
That's why they said the first breakup is always the hardest, right?
We thought at that point that we would probably have to marry that girl. You know what I mean? And then we go through all these problems, all these arguments and all that, and you realize, look, we're in college. You know, or we're in secondary school. There's no way that we'll probably end up with this person. But then again, we hear stories of childhood sweethearts. How some people just stick to one person and they get married and they have kids and they live happily ever after. So you know, as a
we buy
result of
into
that
story, yes.
The fairy tale.
we tend to be serious about every single partner that we get a bit more, serious with.
Everyone is a potential spouse. I mean,
Exactly.
you don't get into a relationship
Already
not
knowing that
thinking
you're gonna
it's going to
break
be
up.
forever.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
But now we are wiser.
Now we are
right?
wiser,
You
yes.
know what I mean? The moment you have sex with someone, you don't have to marry the person.
Yes. That's good advice.
I will say this. I mean, back to this topic of limerence and all that and getting over it. The best advice I ever received was focus on what they do and not even what they say. Because even the things that they say, depending on how much of a wonderful person you've made them out to be in your mind, you can always twist and misinterpret the things, the feelings behind what they are saying as well.
Yeah.
But just focus on their actions.
Yes.
Yeah.
So when there is amazing sex, it doesn't necessarily mean love. It doesn't mean safety. It doesn't mean commitment. It doesn't mean that you are with somebody who will show up for you. That's different from being in a relationship. However, when your body goes through arousal, your prefrontal cortex, your logical brain actually shuts down. Your impulses can increase. So will your fantasy or your justification. This is when limerence is also likely to happen.
I can see it happening though, because women will have sex with a guy and he will give her everything in that one night and it'll feel like
Magical.
we were meant to be.
Yes.
Do you know what I mean? Because
we
everything
fit
was
so
so
well
in
together.
sync and all that.
Yeah.
And you can walk away thinking, okay,
Yeah.
this is the guy I'm going to marry.
So
Yeah,
you're
this is
saying
the
that-
person
that-
that I want to have sex for the rest of my life.
and children with and all that.
So women are more prone to limerence
I mean,
than
I'm
guys.
I'm a woman, so I can see it happening. I'm not sure. I can't speak for the men.
Not
you know?
necessarily. I mean, we were just having this conversation yesterday when you talked about how one day maybe if you had to find a different job, you want to start Glenn Ong's escort agency, right? Because women and men, they both love companionship and things like that. And I feel it applies to both genders. You know what I mean? If you can feed somebody the idea of companionship, of making them feel good about themselves, they could maybe get obsessed over you because they see that as their future with you.
How, Martha? If I'm a
Claire,
male
what are you
escort?
doing? Trying to build up clientele already?
No. I started up by saying I want to be an escort.
It will be called the Gentleman's
for
Society.
me. Yeah.
Okay,
Would you hire me?
anybody
Only men.
interested can WhatsApp
Double
the
eight double
station,
50
and Glenn will decide whether to quit his job.
Okay, no, I want to do both.
It's 1-800 GLE N.
Here's Avicii with Wake Me Up on Kiss 92.
You
No,
better
it
go
start-
book that number
Yeah.
now.
Oh my god, it just started because he was asking that question. I'm like, I don't mind being a male escort,
Actually, it started with gigolo first, then it moved on to escort.
Yeah, I
and
said
then-
gigolo.
yes.
You said gigolo. I didn't say
I
gigolo.
didn't say. You said gigolo. And then it moved on to companionship. Yeah.
Okay.
It went as far as looking for a name for the company as well.
Okay, so I mean, we digress a little bit, but what do you think about the escort, what do you call,
Scene?
industry? Do you think they play a part in
Limerence.
In no lah.
They're selling.
It could be because I read an article.
Some people get obsessed,
emotionally attached or
about,
something.
their-
Yeah, they could.
Because I mean, the escort is
patron.
there for you to make you feel. I mean, if you're lonely, they're there.
Yeah,
to
it's
keep
a
you
role that they're
company.
playing, right? It's not
Yeah.
even real.
But the person that's paying for that service
it's in control.
could
slip
also
into
become
limerence.
obsessed.
Yeah.
Oh yes, I can
You
see
know?
that. I can see
Yeah.
that.
And then it's ka-ching, ka-ching, ka-ching because that person will keep on calling.
But both
calling
people
the
are
escort.
playing a
But
game.
because I read an article where this girl, it was in local papers as well, where this girl came out of a 5-year relationship and then decided she did not want to get into a relationship anymore, and then started paying for a service where she had companionship and whatever else they did, and then she told herself, okay, I'm not going to get into a relationship. I'll just hire this guy whenever I
What is
feel
that
like
you're saying?
it. So-
Rent a companion, is it? Or
Something-
something you were saying?
Did I say?
Yeah, no, yesterday you were telling me.
I said.
In Japan or something.
Yes, rent a companion in
Yeah,
Japan.
that-
Yes.
Or companion
Your
to
memory,
hire or
huh?
something.
Are you okay?
Yeah.
or not?
I thought you were talking about a name like
No.
Boys R Us
Yeah.
or
No,
something.
lah. So I was asking because I remember you
Yes.
telling me something
Rent-
like that.
rent a companion. Yes.
Okay.
I also saw yesterday on YouTube they are also having a similar service in China. So it's not
Yeah.
just exclusive to Japan or China.
But
And I
is it
think that's even more dangerous, no, bro. I mean, you pull apart the physical intimacy and all that, right?
Yeah.
You put together the companion bit, right? I think that is actually the more dangerous thing because you can get over your hormones. You may not get over your emotions.
I guess. No, so that's what I'm saying. Is it the same thing? Because escort seems like a bad word.
Yeah,
The moment
it
you
seems
say escort,
dirty, yeah.
But companion, like rent a companion. But isn't it the same thing?
I think we
To me
talked
it
about
is.
it before because there's money involved and
It's a transaction,
so
yeah.
it becomes a power dynamic thing, meaning one has more power over the other because you would do things in because you need the money, and so this is not really on an equal playing field.
But I feel like this is going to become more rampant because more people, firstly, are not getting married. Secondly, are living alone. And thirdly, are more online and stuff like that. So
Yeah.
why meet a companion when I can just buy one?
Yeah,
You
and
know
then
what I mean?
the
And you
cost
still
of
get
living.
that physical,
Yeah, same.
what do you call gratification?
Without all the emotional stuff attached,
Yeah,
right?
so that's also the cost of living that makes it challenging when you're a young person, and the way you think about sex maybe is not so formed. Like you don't see the importance between the sovereignty of your body and money, how it can be damaging. So yeah, there are people willing to do this because you're only going to be young forever once.
But it's not. This is not even a new thing, lah. I mean, look, even in the 90s when we were growing up, last time they had those 1-800 chat lines, right? Where if you were lonely, you could call these
Yeah.
people and they would speak to you. Like that one got no physical intimacy. I can't even see the person's face. But alamak, I got somebody who will talk to me and make me feel
Yeah.
good. How many times when you were doing the night show, you got female listeners to go, Glenong, after
Yeah.
the song go on, can we talk off air?
Always.
And
Because you
also-
made them feel good. You gave them that companionship.
And also, you feel like the DJ is talking to you.
yes.
You
Yes,
know what I mean?
Limerence,
You.
Limerence.
All the songs that I'm playing for you and you alone. Remember,
Yeah.
that's how what we were taught.
But I've
It's only
always
for
been
one
professional.
person, right?
Always been professional.
Good. Never
They
married
were like
his
meet me
listeners.
at events and stuff like
Yeah.
that. But notice, I mean, I think you guys have seen me in action,
Yeah,
right? I mean,
yeah.
that I always keep my distance. Yeah,
Yes,
you know,
yeah.
hi
Has
and all that.
anybody
But
ever fainted when they see you?
one or two over the years.
Yeah, you see, you say
That's limerence.
nobody have limerence towards you.
No
have,
lah, not fainting.
Well, we had one that cried over all of us. Yeah. So what do we do? Like, I mean, how do we spot it in somebody else? You know, like somebody else who's behaving towards, say, Glenn with limerence.
Yeah, the gooey eyes for one. No, seriously, like they have a dream fog look where they
With hearts and everything.
Correct. Over what, there are people who project things onto you, and it can be very annoying. So being aware of the signs and also aware of the power and influence that you have over someone, like someone who's a celebrity or like an influencer, you are more susceptible to people having an imaginary story about you.
Right. Contrary to what you guys believe, I don't just sleep with anybody. Okay.
Oh, really? Oh.
Yeah, of course. I mean, you can't do that. There needs to be a connection. You know how some people they just
You
go
connect
like.
with everyone, though.
That's also true.
Yeah.
Yes. Some people are
that's the
easily
problem
more
with you.
connectable
How about
Yes,
than
he
I'm
has
others.
a big
selective? How
pool
about
to
that? I'm
choose from.
selective.
You're selective, yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Because
You-
there's only one of you.
yeah, he can't spread himself too thin.
But then when I become an escort, then
You can spread
I will
yourself as
still
thin as
be
you want.
selective.
But the highest bidder.
Oh,
Okay,
just
let's
put him up for auction.
let's go back on air one last time.
Got me thinking she's so cool, but I know when you just do that's so true.
Gracie Abrams, That's So True, right here on Kiss 92. All the great songs in one place. We've been talking about limerence with our sexologist, Dr. Martha Tara Lee. And I think I just saw this as one or two of your pointers here, and I think it's so true. Chemistry matters. Sex can be meaningful, but chemistry is not compatibility. Great sex is information, not confirmation.
Ooh, I like that.
Yeah. And most people, they get obsessed because of that
The great sex bit.
great sex bit or
Chemistry.
the fantasies that they have.
Yeah,
Yes.
just because you get along with someone doesn't mean you're made for you.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
I had a session with a client who spent the entire session trying to unpack whether this amazing, mind-blowing sex means they are meant to be. The entire session going round and round and round. That's limerence.
Which is why I always say I admire couples, who gave themselves for the first time to each other,
And then
they
stay
get
together.
married, and then they have kids, and they don't have anyone else to
Compared to, yeah.
Right? But that's love. It usually turns out, very, very well. But this day and age, right, it's so hard.
I
right?
think
It's
that's
hard
a good. I
because
think that's
there's
a
also
good,
FOMO.
That's a good subject. Whether people should hold out or experience as much as possible. You know what I mean? Without encouraging people to go sleeping around. But I'm just saying, should people get to know lots and lots of people before
Yeah.
committing, or should they just pick the first one that
No.
comes along?
I
and
say
just,
pick the first one.
I think that can be a topic.
Yeah, that can be a
Pick
topic.
the
I
first
think.
one.
One final thing, though, on today's topic. Do you think all this talk about limerence and understanding, obsession and all that, just makes it feel like we should just be more cynical about fairy tales? We shouldn't dream. We shouldn't have ideals
No
because we could
Cinderella.
run the risk of, falling into these obsessive spells. We should just straight away, real life fairy tale? No such thing. But then we got no ideal to aspire to, right?
Yeah.
Correct, but I think that
It's
is
good
the,
to dream as well,
The,
right?
the lack of education around what is a sustainable long-term relationship. It doesn't have necessarily the fireworks, and if you are so conditioned to crave and run after the drama, then what about work?
So it's good to be idealistic, but also know the reality.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can be idealistic, but you also need to balance it with practicalities of life.
Yeah.
I feel.
Yeah. I can only speak for the men, but I feel like for men, right? I mean, sex is like a drug. Not all men get addicted, but there are many men who get addicted. And
Yeah, the high.
And many men have been brought down because, of that. I don't know about ladies, whether they feel like sex is a drug to them, but, for guys, it can be.
Yeah, I can see that.
And also, you remember when I first joined the Big Show, all right?
Yep.
I mean, you had just come out of a very long-term relationship. You were starting to date again. And I actually said, I want to live vicariously through Glenn. Because this time of his life, right, is a time that I have not experienced in a very long time. The whole getting to know someone, the electricity,
Right.
does this person like me? Do I
Oh
person
my
like
gosh, I'm
that
getting
person?
tired just
Those
thinking about it.
Dopamine hits, you know what I mean?
And then partying till 7 a.m. in the
Yeah,
morning.
that's the exciting part, right? And I feel like a lot of times as well, people get into limerence because they're chasing that. They haven't experienced that in quite a while.
Yeah, it's definitely true. Being susceptible to it, feeling lonely, unappreciated, unwanted in a relationship can lead you to just being in limerence, say, with your colleague, and coming out with some imaginary fantasies of what kind of life you have.
Okay, so be careful. I mean, especially this weekend, if you're going to be spending time with friends, family, people you're obsessing over, just take a step back. And
And for those who are dating or thinking of dating, or of your kids who are dating, maybe a limerence can be something that you look out for in your children.
and talk about it.
Yeah. So the bottom line is whether you would choose this person if sex was average. If you are in a sexual relationship with someone, would you actually want to be in a relationship if sex was average? Meaning you would choose this person for who they are rather than just about
For
the sex.
Okay.
All right. Thank you very much, Martha, as always. We will see you next week, okay? This has been Behind Closed Doors with Dr. Martha Tara Lee.
Thank you.
Go big or go home. Wake up, turn up.